I call the monthly Board of Education meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Motion.
Mr. Arn makes a motion. Do I have a second? Dr. Fulmer, second. All in favor, show of hands. Motion carries. Citizen statements. Dr. Henry.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had no one request participation as per Board Policy BDDH1.
Written communications. Dr. Henry.
We had no written communications either.
Military update.
Good evening. As many of you know, very soon Fort Leonard will be starting their holiday block leave season, and with that, some hours and some businesses do have reduced schedules, so a good rule of thumb is if you're heading that way to please either check the website or call first to make sure that they are not having reduced hours. Fort Leonard Wood will offer a variety of events for our youth to keep them busy during the school break, although I know they would much rather be in school. Some of the events are to include, but not limited to, we've got some youth specials going on at bowling. We have an opportunity to scuba with Santa. We have registration open for our swim lessons, and our book brigade at our library starts on the 30th of December. On behalf of Fort Leonard Wood leadership, we want to wish everybody a very safe, healthy, and happy holiday season. If you are traveling out there, please be safe. Every single one of our community members is so important to us, and we want you all back safe and sound for the new year. So very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and pending any questions, that's all I have.
Thank you, and thank you for your continued support to the Army.
We look forward to continuing it in 2022.
District announcements, Dr. Henry.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tonight, we will recognize the Waynesville 6th grade center. I see him back there in full force. Very good. Yeah, they're giving the strength there. So thank you for all you do for our students, and I look forward to hearing more during the Spotlight on Education. Also, and I did this on person on Friday, but I also want to publicly congratulate our 6th grade center for being ranked by U.S. News and World Report as being in the top third of all middle schools in the entire state in performance. Congratulations, 6th grade center. I also want to congratulate all of our elementary schools, as the U.S. News and World Report has ranked each building in the top third of elementary schools in terms of performance across the entire state of Missouri. This is yet another example of the outstanding work our staff and students are doing in the classroom each day, and I believe we had a couple of buildings in the top 20% across the state. So congratulations. Thank you all for the work you're doing. The Route 66 shootout will be held Friday, December 17th and Saturday, December 18th, with 9 teams playing in 7 games. The cost is $5 per person each day. Please note that everyone over age 5 will need to purchase a ticket in advance, as these are not regular season games. Tickets may be purchased by going to the district's main website and clicking on the Athletics/Sports tab. For regular season home games, Waynesville R6 residents age 60 and up who have a senior citizens athletic pass just need to show up at the gate and do not have to go online for regular season tickets. The foundation has reprinted the K-8 discount cards, and I want to thank our local restaurants for supporting us through this process. The K-8 cards may be exchanged at the administration building. And then students will go to school a full day on December the 17th, which I know probably doesn't make you real happy, but then there'll be no school for 2 full weeks after that. So that's the great part about that. Students can return to the classroom on Monday, January 3rd, 2022. January 7th will be the end of second quarter. January 14th will be an early release day, and there'll be no school on Monday, January the 17th, in observance of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. And I want to wish everyone a very happy and restful holiday season.
Thank you, Dr. Henry. I have a motion to approve consent agenda items A through H.
Make that motion.
Mr. Ponder makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Rouse, second. All in favor, show of hands. Motion carries. Spotlight on Education. Mrs. Goforth.
Good evening. My name is Catherine Livingston. Tonight I have the privilege of honoring Miss Jody Taylor and Miss Maria Duncan for our Spotlight on Education. Mrs. Taylor has been with our district for 10 years. She has been at WSGC for 3 years. For 9 of her years in the district, she has been serving our diverse student population as an ESL instructional coach. She is extremely deserving of this award. She is one person in our building who is always ready to jump in and help in any situation where she is needed. When staff were asked about Mrs. Taylor, they stated, "She always has a smile on her face as well as a positive attitude. She has a ton of school spirit and loves to help bring diverse learning opportunities to our classrooms." Not only is Mrs. Taylor a valuable instructional leader, she also is always willing to help out anywhere she is needed on a daily basis. From doing her own assigned duties during the day to also filling in for others as needed for duties and responsibilities, Jody is always there. When students were asked about Mrs. Taylor, they were all eager to say how nice and helpful she is. They stated that Mrs. Taylor is always around to help when they need it. She helps them make study guides and helps them with work they need to catch up on. Students also shared that Mrs. Taylor always shows that she is concerned about students and wants what is best for them. Jody is an active member of the ELA PLC team and contributes resources to not only support our EL population at WSGC, but all students who are struggling to understand the standards. Mrs. Taylor is a wealth of knowledge on differentiation of skills for students who need help with EL acquisition, as well as for students that need the standards and daily work broken down into understandable chunks of information to build them up to proficiency and show growth. She has a no opt-out attitude that students see as valuable to their learning. Please help me recognize Mrs. Jody Taylor as WSGC's Certified Spotlight on Education. I now have the honor to introduce Miss Duncan. This is Miss Duncan's first year at WSGC, and she is making a huge impact on our students so far in the short time that she has been here. Miss Duncan is a paraprofessional who is always willing to help out and do whatever is asked of her. She works with students that need extra attention and loves building relationships with them. When staff was asked about Miss Duncan, they said Mrs. Duncan's people skills are exemplary. She is one of the friendliest people that I know, and she always arrives with a smile on her face and a happy greeting for her coworkers, and more importantly, the students. Although Miss Duncan is responsible for her own daily tasks, she can often be found assisting other coworkers with their tasks, and she never hesitates to assist the students when they need her. Miss Duncan has an ability to communicate effectively with all of her coworkers, and she is able to communicate with students in a way that helps them to feel valued and appreciated. When students were asked about Miss Duncan, they all shared that she is very nice. They said that she is kind, cool, and loves to help everyone. Outside of school, Maria is still serving as a first sergeant for a military police training unit in Springfield. She is graduating with her Bachelor in General Studies at Missouri State University and is currently working on her Master's of Art in Teaching and Physical Education. Miss Duncan is not only dedicated to the 6th grade center, but is also the co-head coach of the girls wrestling team here at WHS. It is easy to see how dedicated she is to our students and community. Please join me in honoring Miss Maria Duncan as WSGC's Classified Spotlight on Education.
Good evening. The Collaborative Team Spotlight is awarded to our science team, Mrs. Starner, Mrs. Willis, Mrs. Murphy, and Mrs. Wilson. The science team at WSGC uses critical thinking, collaboration, and creativity and communication to enhance their teaching. During the 2021-2022 school year, they have embraced non-linguistic representation through the use of bookets to review for assessments, flashcards for vocabulary, and whole brain teaching to better understand the content. As a result of these strategies, science has seen marked improvement in student understanding and comprehension. On the standard ecosystems and maintenance, the pretest data showed 0% of students were proficient and advanced. At the conclusion of the unit, there were 85% of students proficient and advanced. Further strategies used for these results were test-taking strategies and visual cues for students that needed that support. This team continually uses their data to guide instruction and to adapt to student needs.
Congratulations, everybody, again. It doesn't surprise me. I know my son was a big Miss Starner fan. He, to this day, still talks about how great she was, so congratulations. Next, we'll move the Project Teacher Award, Ms. Bells.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Mike Freeman from Ed Morris Ford St. Robert Automobile Dealership, sponsor of the Project Teach Award, will present this quarter's $100 award to Joshua Mize, social studies teacher at Waynesville High School, for his project Museum of Current Events. Mr. Freeman, I'm not sure that Mr. Mize is here with us in the audience, so Dr. Witt will accept on his behalf.
Great, and thank you. And Merry Christmas to the board and administration of the school district. And yes, we are now the Ed Morris Ford Group out of St. Robert, Seller Section, been in business for 45 years, and we're honored to have the same team, just a new name, continue to support the school district as well as school districts in our area with their, not only their Project Teacher Awards, but the many other ways to be involved and support our kids and our teachers. And so I'm here representing the new Ed Morris Ford this evening. We're recognizing our teacher, Mr. Mize, Joshua Mize, and if he is here, to come on forward. If he's not, let's continue to recognize him this evening for his outstanding projects. I'd like to read to you a little bit about what Mr. Mize has done in regards to your school district and tell you how he's engaged in making our students better in life. And I read to his project, it says, Museum of Current Events, dealing with real-world problem solving. I would like to hire him because I need some inventory and I need him to figure out this manufacturing situation in the world. So maybe his students can help us with this also. Many students fail to see the real value in content and concepts being taught in history class. So he's dealing with history and how history in the past repeats itself and how it affects us in the real world today. Much of what is happening today is a direct result of past events in our lives. And it is the purpose of this project to link the present to those past events as a means to establish the relevance of learning about history. This understanding will guide students to analyze the historical impact and identify the importance of their chosen current event. By making the connection of how the past is linked to the present, we can also use that knowledge to make decisions regarding what could happen to us and for us in the future. So his project design was this: using the idea of Genius Hour, where students devote 20% of their time exploring their passions and wonders, students will engage in a historian hour. Once a week, students will explore problems facing our world today and use their interests and passions to discover relevance in history. Students will choose a current event topic that interests them and or addresses an issue that they are passionate about. They'll research information regarding their chosen topic, first to gain a holistic understanding of what is going on present day, and next the students will research backwards through time to find at least 10 historical events that are linked to their topic, working to figure out where it all began. Finally, students will utilize their information gathered to understand why this problem exists today, identify key lessons we can learn as a society from the events studied to infer what could happen in the future as a result of this event taking place. Students will present their current event and what they have learned by creating a finished product of their choice from a provided list of options, meaning they have a virtual exhibit, video documentary, website, or podcast. They will also create a video reflection on how they use history to understand the present and predict the future. Audio and video recording resources will be needed for the creation of students' final project. So this evening I have a check for the school district for $100 to support this great teacher, Mr. Joshua Mize, and I hope this $100 goes to help him with the recording and his videos for his projects going forward, making a difference and help students understand that history is not just history. History is how we can learn from it and be better in the future to help other people, including those in the car business, which we need. Merry Christmas to you all. Mr. Joshua Mize, recognize him as your second quarter teacher of the quarter, if you would.
Well, thank you again, Mike. We're excited to work with you guys in Ed Morris Ford now, so it's unusual to say, but that's what it is. So thank you, and guys have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays over there. Thank you. Transportation Employee of the Month, Dr. Cobb, Mr. Wilking.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Wilking will present the Employee of the Month for December.
Thank you, Dr. Cobb, Mr. President. Tonight we'd like to recognize Danina Ashley. Danina, better known as Nina, has worked for the school district as a school bus aide and school bus driver for a total of 18 years. Nina's always goes above and beyond, with her job duties to do what's best for her students. Nina has great rapport with her students and parents. A fellow employee had this to say about Nina: she's a go-getter, organized, and cares about students. Another employee said Nina is hardworking and willing to take charge when needed, especially when it comes to organizing the early childhood students when we have to split routes during afternoon staffing issues. So she does a excellent job of doing that. So tonight we just want to say thank you to Nina for all that she does and congratulate you on being the December Transportation Employee of the Month.
Congratulations again. Community recognition, Mrs. Bills.
Thank you, Mr. President. It is again my honor to recognize our Community Member of the Month, Price Cutter, and Jeff Adkins is here, General Manager at Price Cutter, to accept on their behalf. Price Cutter has been an indispensable partner through the distribution crisis and pandemic. We were not receiving deliveries on a regular basis, and Price Cutter stepped up to help us out and get water and bread so we could continue to serve items that our students love. Mr. Adkins went above and beyond to help us out with anything we needed, and he even donated bags when we were delivering food via buses back in the spring. So it is my honor to recognize Price Cutter and Mr. Adkins this month. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's move to discussion item, Parker Fine Arts Renovation Project Update, Dr. Cobb.
Thank you, Mr. President. All right. This first picture here is the front of Parker. As you can see, they're getting the secured vestibule together. Right now, we're just in a waiting pause for the doors to come in, and there as well, as you can see, the canopy is coming along there as well. As you walk in, this is, if you come in the front door and you go to the left, this is kind of that first entrance into what you call the gymnasium boardroom. As you can see, it's not in yet, but right above where that wheelbarrow is, there'll be a sliding glass window that will be cut in right there for the secretary to have access. Her office will be right inside that. That used to be kind of a storage area, so she'll sit right in there. She'll have direct access to the front door. On this next picture, this is where you will have the audio-visual. Mr. Wallace's class will be sitting up there, as long as some other people that will control the lights, the sound. If there's an outside organization in there, they'll be able to control the soundboard from up there for videos and things as whatnot that are up there. As well as if you kind of see that ladders, that's kind of the big data closet, so that's where all the hub of all the data for the building will be housed right there as well. Next couple pictures, you got the stairs that will, on the left side, those are the stairs that will go down to be able to get access to that lower classroom that will also be a meeting room or executive board room, as well as just kind of a general picture of kind of what the inside of it is looking at right now. I believe even from taking that picture there's additional sheetrock that has been up on the walls since this picture was taken last Monday. And the very last picture here, this is the concrete has been poured on the stage, so this is where the board will sit. There'll be some walls that will kind of go on both sides and wall on that back side, but that was just poured. and is ready to go. In that very back corner, you can kind of see some of the pipes sticking up is where a bathroom will be as well. If there's any questions or.
Is the project still running on schedule?
Yes, yeah, we are looking to be done the first part of March with all construction, and then we'll be able to start moving furniture and whatnot in there.
Very good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Cobb. Wellness, Mrs. Long.
Hi, good evening, and thank you for this opportunity to provide an update on our wellness initiatives within the district. As you're well aware, wellness was a part of the update that went along with the whole update of the CSIP last year, and so we updated our measurement for wellness, as well as some actions, added some action steps that are stated directly into the district CSIP plan. And that measurement is to increase the understanding and use of mental health resources by 5% each year. And you can see there's a few action steps listed there, and then there's many more that we'll be implementing to reach that goal and to provide the services that we believe our students and our staff need. And also included is our attendance goal for students in wellness as well, in the very bottom. So measuring that, this is our baseline year to gather the baseline data. We are measuring that through surveys that already go out, adding and or rephrasing a few questions in current surveys. The parent survey was administered in October, and the staff survey was administered last week, so we just have those results in this week as well. But the parent survey, you can see the, like I mentioned, the baseline answers to those two questions that we asked parents in regards to mental health resources available for their students and the awareness, and then if they're able to access those as well. We asked teachers the same question about resources for them if they're aware, their access, and then we followed up with a few two additional questions for teachers based on providing social emotional support for their students in the classroom and helping us to drill down what specific needs they have and how they would prefer to receive that information or training to better address those needs that they're seeing students have within their classrooms. So a little bit of the past year on staff wellness. Last spring, we started offering some additional supports for our staff. In April of 2021, we offered some small group opportunities for staff. They were able to meet virtually with a therapist provided to us by Central Ozarks Medical Clinic. And we also started advertising to our staff some online wellness opportunities that are provided through our school-sponsored insurance. If they are on the insurance and they're able to access My Strength. And it's just a wellness opportunity you can sign up for and personalize, and it'll send you nice little email reminders to try to keep, remind you of your need for self-care and keep it positive and all those healthy, all those things. And then we offered a series of classes last summer, summer self-care for staff, and we had 68 staff members that signed up to attend at least one of 6 different sessions offered throughout the summer. And those were just different sessions offered for our staff to take some time, invest back in themselves, and learn some good self-care strategies last summer. We are beginning staff wellness groups. We have walking and book clubs were identified as two of the, we surveyed staff last year, and those were 2 areas that staff were very interested in, some of the higher interest areas. So we have starting, they are getting scheduled. I think they'll actually all get their books in and be starting in January. We have a mystery book club, a self-care book club, and a walking club starting for all staff members to participate, and they're all holding those in after-school hours. That's what they chose to do. We send out a quarterly wellness newsletter. You can see that on the right, an example of the quarterly wellness newsletter to staff, as well as we do a quarterly wellness challenge for staff. It might be counting steps, it might be a gratitude challenge, something that they can voluntarily participate in to, remind themselves to take care of themselves, do something positive. And everyone that participates gets a little something, and then we draw from everyone that participates based on school participation and some bigger prizes for a few individuals on that. We've been very excited to have been informed this fall that all of our staff members have access to the Anthem EAP program. Down there, the Employee Assistance Program, that's that blue flyer on the left. And that flyer lists a number of services that are offered free to any of our staff members. They don't have to be on the school insurance. This is because we're a member of MET. That it's available to all of our staff. So it does include free counseling, online, digital, emotional well-being tools, but there's also financial counseling and assistance. There's like preparing for the future legally, taking care of elderly parents or taking care of young children. There's all sorts of resources available through this program free of charge for our staff. That they can access by going online. So we've begun to promote this, share with the staff it's very easy to sign up for, how they can do that. We actually, they also offer through the same program free wellness seminars. And so tomorrow night is our first one, and it is it's actually an informational setting about the EAP. We have a live presenter coming to us, so she'll be here tomorrow at 4:15 in the lecture hall for any staff that just wants to know more about this program or has questions about it. She'll be here to answer that. And then we're on Thursday, we have a virtual presentation, the same thing offered virtually to staff if they just want to join that seminar virtually. And then we're looking at, they have like an 8-page list of different topics that they can offer seminars on. So we're looking at offering some of those next semester as well. Student wellness, as you saw from our CSIP goals, one of our things that we were doing is working with the physical education and health curriculum teams to embed strategies that promote healthy lifestyles. We have been doing for a few years, I've been working with the elementary PE coaches on embedding mindfulness activities and practices. We gathered a whole list, went through them together. They got to choose which ones best fit, and they do different ones, sometimes for different grade levels or different purposes. But at some point during their lesson, sometimes it's when they start their lesson, sometimes it's when they're transitioning activities. It's very frequently when they're done, and so they're kind of calming the students back down before they give them back to their classroom teacher, that they will engage them in a mindfulness lesson to try to help students to learn those healthy habits and mind habits within the PE setting. And so that's been really fun. There's some pictures there of out in Freedom of them doing those activities a week or so ago. And we are also working to update their curriculum to include a diet, nutrition, and rhythm and movement units into their existing curriculum as well. Up next is to work with middle school and high school PE, and also to work to implement some of those mindfulness activities in the other areas in elementary, like music and art. Student wellness, when we talk about student wellness, beyond that strategy, our counselors obviously deliver direct instruction lessons that focus on those social emotional core competencies that you can see in the graphic on the right. And they push in at all grade levels and deliver those to students, K through 12 within our district. We are also working at creating a database of, again, classroom activities. We know that classroom teacher, one, knows their students and their needs the most, and two, is with them all the time. So, while it's great that a counselor can push in, do a great lesson with the kids, give them some tools, it's that teacher that's there that when they need the tools to help that happen right in the heat of the moment or when it's noticed that it's needed. So, and this is also a result of many of our teachers, just stating like, these are some needs that I'm seeing in my students and I'd like to be able to help them. And so, again, we added those questions on the last questionnaire that we did last week to try to identify specific needs that they have in these different areas and then how they would like to be provided with just simple routines they can put into their class, activities to address some of those needs that they can do with their students in the classroom. Another area that our counselors we're working on this year are supports for our students who are on virtual learning. They provided support for those students. In the elementary area, it was very social focused. Students that were on virtual learning received counseling curriculum lessons already, but this gave them the opportunity to get online with, like they said, just new faces, you know, not their same teacher in classroom that they're in every day. So they could get online with some of our counselors and different students they did some peer social opportunities both during the day, and a couple of the buildings did that host Club Tiger. So they got some of the Club Tiger kids to get online with some of the virtual kids to do social opportunities during the first semester. And our secondary counselors offered they offered a lot of individual support if needed, you know, made sure that our students knew that we were here. But in addition, we're offering virtual presentations of their counseling curriculum, because those students on virtual learning, you know, they need to learn just about that college and career readiness just like every other student, and that is not a part of their online learning. So we provided that to those that would join us that are currently learning in that setting this year. And then just another reminder of the grant that Central Ozarks Medical Center has due to them being a federally qualified health center. They do provide us with now 2 social workers. We were very excited to have Ms. Nutter join us in October, and she services and has I believe it's this week, it's full caseloads already in the 6th grade center, middle school, and high school. So she's servicing our secondary students, and Ms. Hartley still services the students at Freedom and East. This is a great tiered service for us to be able to offer to our parents, that if those students need something more than what school counseling is there to cover, and they're not able to access it outside, you know, in the community setting, then this is an opportunity for us to provide that for them. And then also our school-based health clinic, in which Lori Spar is our nurse practitioner that services both locations at East and the high school. Any questions?
I just have a comment. I appreciate that. I mean, our world has kind of forced us to be both in person and virtual, but when it comes to the staff and the students being so open to embracing that and running with it to make it work, and then hopefully we can do more even on demand so that our staff can balance home and work.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's definitely taught us to all think in many ways every time we try to get information out there.
Ms. Long, I noticed in one of your earlier slides there were some parents who kind of disagreed with the survey and the therapy. So if that's the case, do you identify the students as far as, let's say that they wanted therapy or they needed therapy, but the parents is in a disagreement?
Yeah, that's hard because it obviously doesn't come out with any identifying information. We can look at it by building and see if there's any trends, and maybe a specific building didn't feel like they need it. Like I mentioned, this is baseline data, so it's really good for us to go back and say, like, why is that? Why do we think that?
Yeah.
You know, what can we do to, and discuss, in this building, we're seeing more that believe this to be true, and so what's happening maybe somewhere else that's not happening there, or how are we promoting things and pushing these things out?
So there's no way that a parent can disagree and then the student ends up getting counseling at the school?
Oh no, that has to be parent consent. Yeah, it's actually a lot of paperwork that a parent has to fill out in order to get it there. Yeah, absolutely. As they go up the tiers, it's a parent has to agree for them to access it.
Any other comments or questions? Thank you, Ms. Long.
Thank you.
Fall sports report, Mr. Ace.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's crazy to believe that we're already to shootout weekend. The week is a shootout and fall sports are over. But just very quickly, we'll go through a recap of fall sports. We'll start with academics. We'll talk about our Tiger performance training, discuss injuries, discuss our competitive success for the fall, just go in and reiterate our COVID-19 protocols for winter sports, and then touch base on what we have coming up this week. Academics, obviously first and foremost, we place that first and foremost within our athletic programs. I'm extremely proud of our kids. We have set a goal. When I took over, we had a goal of 3.5 GPA across all sports. And you can see that, recently we have been achieving in that area, and we were getting very close to achieving that goal. This fall we had a 3.45 GPA overall. That's out of all of our programs, and you can kind of go through there and see that all programs are above a 3.0. which is the first time in my tenure that has taken place. So that's a lot of hard work from our coaches, our kids just meeting those expectations and being committed and putting academics first in the classroom. Here's a breakdown of all fall academic, all conference kids. So we had 109 kids that had a 3.5 or above this fall semester. So that is tremendous. And then this is a breakdown. You can kind of see that breakdown for fall sports, what sport and how many each were all conference with that 3.75 or higher. Or honorable mention with a 3.5 to 3.74. Tiger performance training. Obviously, we're continuing to hold that expectation of our kids being in the weight room. You know, a big part of that is injury prevention. You know, that's kind of our focus. And then, of course, developing better student athletes overall. This is just kind of a breakdown of all the classes. 7th hour, they actually test. These are 3 of the main lifts that they do: bench press, clean, back squat, Olympic style lifts. And you can see that we're making gains across the board. This is both boys and girls per class. And so this is not just student athlete data. This is also kids in the class as well. Injury report. So this year we have had less injuries in the fall, but we have had a few more serious injuries compared to what we did last year, but a significant decrease in overall injuries. You can see the breakdown per class for that, and of course per injury you can see those top 5 that we're seeing, but mainly it's in the lower extremities, ankles, knees, and more of the sprain stuff. But we did have a few more, you know, more significant injuries like knees, ACLs, MCLs that have taken place this fall season. One thing that I will add as far as the injury report, you know, we are correlating kids that are achieving that 70% expectation in off-season workouts and in the weight room, and we're continuing to see that those that are not meeting that, we're seeing more injuries from those individuals. Competitive success. Actually, we're going to update this tonight because we do have 3 other individuals that were honored or were selected this week for all region, all sectional, 3 football players. But we can see that all conference, we had 20 student athletes across the board that were all conference, 19 that received all district honors, and then we've had 5 that are actually all regional and or sectional, depending on the sport. In addition, we had these 4 individuals, Cassandra, Maxwell, Roberto, and James, who received all district band during the fall. And then we had Alejandro, who actually this year he is all region, but he did break the 3.5 mile or 3.1 mile cross country record here at the state tournament this year. So he is a new Waynesville record holder for that. And then we had Kelly Zarcone, who's a softball player and will be going on to play at the next level, who was also selected to all region. And in addition to that, we had really actually it happened Friday. We had 3 football players that received all regional honors from Southwest Mo Coaches Association, those being Eric Richardson, Aiden McFarland, and Marianne Fiame. We have had 3 individuals sign, and those 3 individuals are Mary Henry, who will be attending Columbia College for volleyball. Kelly Zarcone will be going to William Woods for softball, and Tyler Newsom, who will be going to St. Norbert College, which is, if you're a Green Bay fan, it's right there in Green Bay, and they are green and yellow. But he will be our first Waynesville individual to go to college to compete in swim. COVID-19 and athletics, just real quick. You know, all winter sports are indoors, so we will have the same indoor policies that we had for the fall. There will be no capacity limits at this time. Away non-conference schedules that will all be determined by that school district, and we will be providing concessions at all home competitions. Something new this winter, actually, as we head in, our tickets will all be sold online. We'll continue to do so on My School Bucks, but My School Bucks actually has a new platform that we're headed into that is basically a ticket central, meaning that you can go right to My School Bucks and you can go to one link, one site, and it will have all tickets for all sports. It's very convenient, a lot more user-friendly. That QR code that is listed, if you scan that, that will take you to the direct website, and you can go in and you will actually be able to even search what it is you're looking for. So if you're looking for shootout tickets for this Friday or Saturday, you can search, you know, December 17th, and it'll pull up all the sporting events that we have for that day. So very convenient, easy to use. And then this is our upcoming events. Actually, this week and heading into Christmas break, we'll be pretty busy. This weekend, as Dr. Henry had mentioned, we will have the Route 66 shootout. Both our boys and girls will be playing. The boys will have 2 games, one Friday, one Saturday, and then the girls will only play Friday. They're coming off quite a few games last week. And then we'll have our boys and girls wrestling programs going to Fort Zumwalt East to wrestle. And December 27th through January 1st, our girls basketball team will be going to Pink and White in Springfield. Our boys that same week will be at the Rolla Holiday Basketball Tournament. And then our girls wrestling program will be headed to the Wonder Woman Wrestling Tournament. And I think there's 72 teams in that tournament from all across the country. So it's a big girls tournament. And barring any questions, that is it.
I have one, Mr. Ace.
Yes, sir.
Do we track injuries related to Tiger performance training, or is that incorporated into the injury report?
We do track them. Any accident that we have accident reports that will come in for those PE classes, specifically within those classes and or outside of class.
In relation to the number of students that participate in TPT, how are the numbers associated with that as far as injuries that are incurred in the weight room?
Significantly low. I mean, I don't even think you'd be looking at 1% with as many kids that we have. And, you know, we have 546 kids that actually are in the class. So that's quite a few students. And I think we may have, this fall, maybe had 2 things that happen in the weight room during class.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Any other comments or questions? All right, thank you, Mr. Reyes.
Thank you.
2022 summer school proposal, Dr. Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. The 2022 summer school program will be conducted June 1st through June 29th. Summer school locations will be determined based on enrollment numbers, so we might need to consolidate some buildings, which we've done that the past couple of years. And then breakfast and lunch will be served at each site, and we will have a limited number of virtual course offerings at the high school level, and we will bring this back next month and request approval.
All right, thank you. Any comments or questions? Curriculum documents, Dr. Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. Attached, you will find the updated curriculum documents for your review, which will be brought back at the January board meeting. These are for elementary encore curriculum. That would be art, music, and PE.
We will move into action items. Job descriptions, Mrs. Bills.
Thank you, Mr. President. The following attached job descriptions are presented for second reading. 3.4.3 Elementary Assistant Choir Director, 3.5.0 Elementary Choir Director, 3.7.1 After School Program Site Administrator, 3.7.2 After School Program Site Staff. Administration requests approval at this time, please.
Any comments or questions? Do I have a motion to approve action item A?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Rowell makes a motion, Dr. Fulmer second. All in favor, show of hands. 7-0, motion carries. Waynesville Middle School, Waynesville High School course additions, Dr. Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. Attached are recommended changes to the WHS course description books submitted by Dr. Witt, Waynesville principal, and changes to Waynesville Middle School course descriptions submitted by Mr. Brian Vernon, Waynesville Middle School principal. If approved, these will become effective with the 2022-2023 school year and utilized in the upcoming scheduling process. Administration requests approval of the course description book changes as presented.
Any comments or questions? Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Arn makes the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Rowell second. All in favor, show of hands. 7-0, motion carries. Proposed 2022-23 school calendar, second reading, Mrs. Bills.
Thank you, Mr. President. Administration requests approval of the 2022-2023 school calendar as presented.
There's no comments or questions. Do I have a motion to approve action item C? Mr. Ponder makes a motion. Do I have a second? Dr. Fulmer, second. All in favor, show of hands. Motion carries. Revisions to the 2021-22 staffing plan, Mrs. Bells.
Thank you, Mr. President. Administration is requesting an additional 1 FTE paraprofessional at East Elementary. We had a student that moved in with an IEP that has it written into his IEP, and so we are asking for approval at this time, please.
Any comments or questions? Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Mr. Quinn makes a motion. Ms. Rowell second. All in favor, show of hands. 7-0, motion carries. Music renewal, Dr. Cobb.
Thank you, Mr. President. Administration asked for approval for music, our insurance program renewal for the 2022 year.
Any questions or comments? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Dr. Fulmer makes a motion. I have a second.
Second.
Mr. Arn second. All in favor, show of hands. Motion carries. Before we do this, I just want to wish everybody a happy holidays. Be very safe, and we'll see you back here next year. With that, closed session, closed record, closed vote is allowed by RSMO 610.021, Section 1, legal action. Section 3, hiring, firing, disciplining, and promoting employees. Section 13, individual personnel records, performance ratings. Do I have a motion to enter closed session?
So moved.
Dr. Fulmer makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Rouse second. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes, we are in closed.